Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Webb, Head of Communications at the CW. Welcome to CW Live. We're back again, Andy and me, certainly. We've just done a session with the Post Office, which is great. We've got Dave Ward, our General Secretary, with us now. We're going to be having a session for our Royal Mail group members. You would have seen on the Facebook page and social media channels and possibly via LTB just a few moments ago that the union has agreed to enter into initial discussions with Acas and Royal Mail, so we're going to be getting the view on that. You'll have also seen that does not mean the strike action is called off. The strike action tomorrow and our schedule goes ahead, and it's vitally important that everyone gets behind that. So we thought it was worth, as we've done throughout the whole of the campaign, bringing on Dave and Andy and basically getting it from the horse's mouth, getting the latest news, but also crucially getting the sort of firing up ready for those picket lines tomorrow to make sure we deliver the biggest possible support. So Dave, whilst people let us know where they're watching from, let us know that they're back in the strike action tomorrow. Can you give a bit of an opening statement so people know where we are?
Yeah, okay. So, look, thanks everybody for coming on again. We want to keep you updated as much as we can. Following some discussions over the weekend and an invitation from Acas themselves, they're the ones that have initiated this structure for the talks. We've agreed, and Royal Mail have agreed, to meet at Acas tomorrow. That will be the first session this week, we believe, subject to what is discussed there and how we make progress. We do then want to get back in the room with them probably on Thursday of this week to see if we can start to find a resolution. You'll see in the statement that both sides have said they're committed to finding a resolution. That may not be your experience thus far, or our experience as negotiators. So, let's hope there's a change in going to Acas. The only other thing I'd say about the Acas development is that, we actually wrote to the employer on the 5th of October, making it absolutely clear that we was willing to go to Acas, third-party facilitation, as it's called. But there's a process that you have to go through to achieve that. You can't just rock up there, you and the employer. You have to go through a process. And that's what Acas have been pursuing in the last couple of weeks to get that done properly. And we're now at that stage where we've all agreed that. So look, from our point of view, it's good development. Let's see where it goes tomorrow. In the meantime, my position to you is that be ready for the strike tomorrow. We've sent that out in the LTB as well. Crucially, there's no need for the CWU to stand down in industrial action, strike action. As part of the Acas process, we've made it clear that we wouldn't do that anyway. Let's see what happens in the talks, and we'll keep you updated as we go.
Thanks, Dave. Brilliant. Andy, one of the things, there's a few questions that have cropped up, which I'll put to you as Janina walks in the room live. Hello, Janina. You're live on air to the thousands of members. Nice to see you. As Janina joins us, maybe she got something. Maybe Janina's going to be the one to unlock this dispute. We never know, do we? Andy, one of the questions that the members are asking is in and around the strike action. So maybe just for you, a chance to reaffirm how critical it is that the members come out tomorrow. I can't say in bigger numbers than before because everyone's out. It's been just so stunning. But come out on your picket lines. Obviously, making sure it's all legally compliant. 6 on the picket lines. The rest of you observing and supporting, etc. But let's get those social media channels rammed with every office in the country. How important is that tomorrow?
It's vital. But first of all, put into context the Acas talks. This is just the beginning of those talks, and we don't want people to get carried away with that. We want to manage expectations that the talks, whilst we welcome them, we're going to have to see how they go. And there are exceptionally complex matters here, and the scale of the attack on our members is just phenomenal. Not least of all the 10,000 job losses and the compulsory redundancy. So, please do not think that this dispute is over at all. We've got a programme of action throughout November, and that programme of action we will stick to and deliver on if we have to. We don't want to do that. Our preference is to make good progress and quickly, but that depends on the attitude of the employer. So, look, we have the talks in parallel to the strike action. Tomorrow needs to be as equally as successful as previous occasions, and I'm sure it will be. And we go again beyond tomorrow. We're serving notice tomorrow for a fortnight's time for the rolling functional action. We did that last week as well, so we have to give notice every fortnight. So we're all systems go, and we are continuing to pursue the dispute with the programme set out by the Post Executive. In parallel to that will be these talks, and we sincerely hope that we can start to make some progress. But equally, it wouldn't be far-fetched to suggest that we could break down very quickly. If they're not shifting their position, if they're sticking in a dogmatic way to the unreasonable attitude they've adopted throughout the last few months, then it's going to be very, very tough to make progress. But the bottom line, Chris, is the disputes continue until we make good progress.
Thank you, Andy. Brilliant. Dave, lots of people in the comments asking who will be at the Acas talks. Particular interest in and around will the CEO or one of the CEOs of Royal Mail Group, Simon Thompson, be in the room? So have we had confirmation on that yet?
Yeah, we've had confirmation that the CEO will be in attendance at the first meeting. Let's see where that goes from there. I think what's important is that he doesn't go missing in action, and that he doesn't attempt to sabotage what's been going on, which is certainly a feeling that we've got based on conversations that we've had previously with the senior management team. Sometimes Simon Thompson has been in the room, sometimes he's not. What's important now is that the company come to the table and really press forward on what they told us at the last meeting, which is that they were willing to look at an alternative approach to trying to find a resolution to all of the issues, which Andy rightly said are very complex, very significant issues that affect the future of our members' jobs. And what's happened, unfortunately, during the course of the dispute is that every time we feel that we've started to perhaps have a better conversation, I don't want to raise expectations that we were edging towards agreements, but it seems to us that the employer is just continuing to up the ante on their side. That's got to stop. But equally, from our point of view, we've got a program of industrial action. One of the issues we've obviously discussed in the lead up to Acas is that we weren't willing to stand that action down. So let's see where we are. We hope that he'll be there. We hope that there's a different approach from the whole of the company, and we hope that there's no one in the background sabotaging any chance of a solution. It will mean that they need to rethink a lot of their key issues, but equally it means that the union has to be up for change. And one of the things that we've been keen to make clear is that we are up for change. I mean, I think it's outrageous at times that they just keep coming out on the media saying, one, we wouldn't go to Acas, which was never true. That wasn't the case. We didn't believe they were serious about the offer, and we had to go through the process that Acas themselves insist on to get to this point. But the second thing is, this union's up for change. And, for them to keep suggesting that we're not, well, we'll be able to set that out very clearly. We'll obviously be able to, hopefully, get back to some of the strategies that were already part of the Pathway to Change agreement, which our members voted on.
Thanks, Dave. Andy, a quick word, because we've got quite a few of our members noticed in the comments. Obviously, for our RMPFS members who will be taking strike action tomorrow, obviously they're not part of the discussions that you and Dave are talking about, but a word of solidarity and the importance of them joining the picket lines.
Oh, absolutely. So a big thank you for our cleaners and engineers for supporting the strike action in such huge numbers last Thursday, and again tomorrow, I'm sure. I do know that Mark Balch and Carl Madden are in talks with the company to try and find a settlement to that, but we're not there yet. And Mark and Dave and Carl will report back on that when we do make progress. So yes, cleaners and engineers, you're totally support for this action and part of it, albeit they are different trade disputes, different legal strike notices, but we called everybody out together for obvious reasons.
Thank you, Andy. Brilliant. Dave, I'll just give you the chance, really. I think, you set out, you and Andy, what the update is. People know where we are. People know it's a development, but the key issue here is that we continue to get the support tomorrow and every strike day on the picket lines. So you and Andy and the other officers walk into those negotiations knowing that every member is behind you, and Royal Mail Group clearly know the same thing. So just to give you the chance, Dave, really to wrap up the session.
Well, I think it's really important that you continue to support us in the way that you have been. I've never seen these levels of support in any previous strike that we've been engaged in over many, many years. It is fantastic support, and the spirit, the strength, the determination. Every time you turn up on a picket line, you can feel it amongst our members. And yes, we're getting the message. You want us to keep the pressure on. But as we also always say, we want a solution. We don't want to have to keep going on strike. So let's hope that the employer is in a different place. And what helps make that happen, without any shadow of a doubt, is the support and the turnout that you demonstrate tomorrow on that strike action. So please get out there again. Please do it in a good-humoured way, a good-natured way, observing the legal requirements of 6 main pickets. But that doesn't mean, as we always say, you can have other people in and around that. And there's been some fantastic activity and good-natured activity on picket lines, and we want that to continue tomorrow. So carry on supporting the union. We'll be in there. One thing that I will say tomorrow is we're looking forward to having a conversation where we can start to put out on the table our concerns about trust as well, and the fact that the trust amongst our members in the company's senior leadership is at an all-time low. That makes it a difficult issue in itself to resolve, but we want to talk about that as well. So we'll be in there battling away tomorrow. We'll be putting our ideas forward for a solution. So let's have a catch-up in the very near future, and you make sure you're out there tomorrow. I'm sure you will be. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Andy, for your time as always. Though most importantly, thank you to the members who've tuned in. 4,000 of you on live 5 o'clock without any notice is absolutely fantastic. You can do us a service, so spread the word. Let everyone know the union is an Acas now. We'll be setting up that initial meeting tomorrow. But what's key is that we support the strikes and deliver the biggest support we ever have done. So take it easy, and we'll see you all on the picket lines tomorrow.